Hi, my name is Clint. I'm an inventor out of Alberta, Canada. I'm here at Avant-Garde Motorsports in Edmonton, Alberta, today to demonstrate the fender covers that I've invented that would work on supercars, where you have to be super careful in terms of anything that you do on the vehicle, because it can cost you tens of thousands to do a repair that might be caused by what you are doing to the vehicle, by scratching a fender or chipping a fender edge or bending a hood strut or something like that. My regular line of fender covers attaches either with magnets on the inside vertical lip where the fender meets the engine bay if you have metallic fenders, or hooks that go around the inside lip of the fender if you're plastic, fiberglass or metallic, for instance like on your Corvettes. And they also have options where you could tie the fender cover on if the fender covers are non-metallic and there's no lip that you can hook onto. Part of the issues with the supercars is that if you tie to a hood strut and you put some force on the fender cover, you could actually shift the position or slightly bend the hood strut so that the hood on the supercar doesn't close properly, and again you're into thousands of dollars of replacement costs. And if you're hooking over the lip of a carbon fiber fender and you pull and you put a little chip in or just a little crack in that carbon fiber fender, then again you're into thousands of dollars of repair. And of course most of these fenders, except maybe on the Ferraris, are non-metallic, so you can't use the magnets. So the design that I've come up with now uses sandbags that can be detached and repositioned to secure the fender cover on the fender of the vehicle without using magnets or hooks or tying anything on. And today I have two different sizes that I'm going to introduce to you, and we're going to put them in different locations and in multiple positions and show you how they work. And in addition, I'll show you how one can be used to give you extra fender well access, and then one that's larger so you can get greater coverage on the fender. And we'll just get started right now. I'm going to start with the larger one, and we're going to put that on the fender. I'm going to show you how the sandbags attach and detach and how they hold and how they can be used to get the fender cover locked into place and so that it stays, as opposed to shifting all around and falling down and that sort of thing. So we're going to roll with the big one right now. Okay, so this is the large fender cover here, and you can see the detachable sandbags up on the top. It weighs about 12 pounds. It's not too heavy for the technician to use, but it needs to be that weight in order to give you proper function and not cause any failures of any kind. And it's pretty large. I'm just going to open it up here for you. And you can see the artificial sheepskin liner that is on the bottom edge. That all velcros out for laundering. And there's a double shock absorbing layer across the crown here for extra padding over the fender crown, and you can also slide stiffeners up in here, and I'm going to show you that on the vehicle in a little while also. So we're just going to take and drop this on right now and start to work. Okay, and you just place the sandbags wherever you need to. And I'm just going to reposition this one right now so that I'm locked in, so that I don't have any motion left to right. There we go. So the edge of that sandbag is butting there, the edge of that sandbag is butting up here, and those sandbags are positioned in here. If you needed to work right here, you could actually just remove the sandbag. If you don't need to worry about that, then the sandbags are in there holding. And you can see that that fender cover isn't moving at all. There's a zero friction surface here, so air hoses like go and slide over the top. You slide over the top when you're working, so there's no forces acting to dislodge the fender cover or move it around while you're working. And part of the reason that that works well is because of this zero friction surface here. So I can tug pretty hard on here and almost rock this car, and it isn't moving. You could slide all day long, lean in here, and everything would just stay exactly where it's supposed to be staying. Again, the sandbags can be shifted or moved and placed wherever you need them. This is the artificial sheepskin liner that acts like a buffing cloth against the paint. That can be velcroed out for laundering. It's doubled over the crown of the fender for double shock protection here. And then I have a stiffener that you could slide up in there too, and I'm just going to grab that for you. plastic sign material. You can get this thickness or twice as thick, or you can put 2 or 3 layers, whatever you need. You can get this locally, usually at your Home Depot. It's not expensive, it's light, it's easy to cut. You can cut the shape that you need, and then you just tuck it up in here, and that gives you the extra stiffness, so you don't have to worry about elbow dents, putting little dents and that sort of thing into the fender. You could slide extra padding up in here if you like, or extra stiffeners, whatever works for you. I'm just going to pull this out for right now. And then you would just put the fender cover back together again once you had your stiffeners or your extra padding up in here. And so that's the big one. It covers every square inch of paint here. I need to cover this here, so all I'm going to do now is just shift that sandbag so I can move that cover back down there a little bit. Place the sandbag back on in the appropriate position. And now I'm locked in this way, and I've covered all the paint on that fender. So it's flexible, easy to use, does what you need, doesn't cause any problems. Double shock absorbing layers across the crown. Artificial sheepskin liner acts like a buffing cloth against the paint. Stays in position, gives you access to everything that you need to have access to. And then for storage, you're just going to fold your sandbags back. And if you needed to, you could reposition them. Pick the fender cover up. There's your artificial sheepskin liner. You want to keep that clean. So we're just going to fold that inwards, and the fender cover can be folded up and placed on a shelf for storage. And if you wanted, you could actually remove the sandbags to make it a little bit easier to handle. So I'm just going to throw this back on, and I'm going to put it across the back for right now. And in this case, if I don't need these sandbags, I could just completely remove them. Or if you wanted, you would just simply reposition them. And that allows you to configure the fender cover as you need. I'm just going to shift these and put the sandbags in here so that I can prevent any motion this way, as well as prevent it from falling inwards or outwards. Okay, so I have everything where I need it. You're not sliding this way, you're not sliding this way, you're not sliding down, and you're just sliding over the top of the cover, so everything stays exactly where you need it to stay. And you can pull on here really hard and it won't move, but because it's a zero friction surface, you can slide over the top of it, and you're not actually putting pulling forces on it anyway. If you needed to work in a specific area, you could actually just fold 1 or 2 of the sandbags back, and that would give you access here if you needed it. And this one is big enough to cover right down to your exhaust here. If the vehicle was hot and you had to have a cover here and the exhaust might be up in here, then I have a shorter fender cover which will end about here so that you could use it while the vehicle was running and you wouldn't have to worry about the heat from the exhaust, which might cause an issue with the fender cover being that close to the hot exhaust. So I'm going to take this cover, put it back over on that side, and I'm going to show you the shorter fender cover which would go across here. And that shorter fender cover would also give you increased access to the wheel well if you were working in through there doing a major brake job or something of that nature. So I'll take that shorter fender cover and then we'll work with it for a while. Okay, and then right now I have it in position here. Again, it's not shifting left or right. You can slide over this way and that way, put your weight on, slide down here. Everything stays exactly where you need it to stay. And I'm just going to put it across the back now and show you how it's shorter. So if you needed to clear where you've got exhaust or exhaust fumes, that could be used there. And again, so that's on very securely. I just shifted the sandbag, takes a second, and that means that it's locked in left to right and it's locked in this way. But if you had to worry about exhaust here, then this one's well above your exhaust. Or sometimes on some cars, the exhaust might actually come out here. So again, that's giving you the clearance that you need there. And then I'm going to take this one and go put it on the side there. And then you can see that it will give you greater wheel well access than that one did. And today I'm just going to pull that one off so that you have better access coming over here. With the other cover coming across, then the other cover would come across easier there. And these are completely detachable. And I'm just going to take that one actually and lock it in here now. And so that gives you locking in against the hood strut here, and this one locks you in so you're not sliding that way. We have had some discussion about taking one of these and using it around the strut and around the hood hinge to lock it in left to right. If you do that, then I would recommend that you actually wrap this hood strut with something first, or the hood hinge, so that there's no chance that you would scratch any paint on the hood hinge or that you might interact in any way with that hood strut because of the Velcro that goes in here. So if you took a soft cloth and just wrapped the hinge or the strut first, then you could use that sandbag locked around the hinge or the strut, and that would give you further stability here. It's actually not necessary. Some people have suggested you could do that. If you do, then what I would recommend is you wrap this first before you Velcro the sandbag around so that the Velcro doesn't cause any scratches or anything against either of those two members there. So that would be your option. I just ask you to take care if you do choose to do that. It's not necessary, but some people seem to think that there might be an advantage for them. Okay, so that one is on and locked on securely again. In this case, you now have complete and total access to the wheel well here. The other one was hanging down to about here. There's about an extra 10 inches deep to cover this if you were working in this area. So depending on your need, if you wanted complete wheel well access here, you could use this shorter one there. If you weren't working in here and you wanted extra coverage, then you could use the large. And so right now I'm just going to shift this one back down here, and I'm going to put the large across the back to show you that I'm pretty well able to cover everything here. Okay, so the edge of the sandbag is butting up here, the edge of this sandbag is butting up here. That totally locks everything in, so I'm just going to be able to work here all day long and not have any concerns of any kind. And that shows you that you can shift it left to right simply by using the sandbags. And that allows you to reposition on different vehicles or different styles of vehicles. This is a Lamborghini Murcielago Coupe. On the Murcielago Roadsters, the hood opens the other way, but you can still come in here with the sandbags, get inside, and then you can use the fender cover in there even though the hood opens up the other way. Okay, I'm going to take the big one now and put it across the back for you. Okay, and so then basically you've covered all of this area over here. If you did need to close your gap, then you could remove a sandbag and you could bring this right over here. So if you had to be working here and here for some reason, then you could actually close this gap up here. If you have enough covers, then you could be halfway here, halfway there, another cover on each side, and you could wrap this whole thing up. So today I'm going to just show you where you can cover this half using these two covers. Okay, so everything is locked in there, and if you had a larger cover here, then this would be covered all the way down to here, and a larger cover here, then you would actually wrap this entire part of this vehicle. If you have a couple of more covers, then you could cover all of this coming across here, and again, with a little bit of shifting of the sandbags, you could wrap that whole front clip up of the rear of this engine bay here. Okay, so again, what we've achieved here is not doing any damage to the supercar, having something that has a buffing cloth layer that acts like a buffing cloth against the paint. I've knitted this backer 4 times more dense, so you get a lot of cushioning and shock absorbing, and then I've short sheared it at the mill so that there's no long tentacles that would tend to catch and trap anything that might cause a scratch against the paint. So if you take a burr and you throw it against here, it's so dense and sheared short enough that the burr would actually just bounce off. It wouldn't get retained and held here so that it could potentially go against the paint. The bottom end could all be velcroed out for laundering once every 3 or 4 years if you need to. That's where you insert your stiffener up in here, and there's a double shock absorbing layer here for double shock protection. And that's pretty much it for today. I have this in for testing now at Avant-Garde Motorsports in Edmonton, Alberta. So far the reviews have been very good. I'm really pleased with the design, and it should be available shortly, sometime late spring 2019. Thank you for your attention today.